In this Get Started tutorial, we will explain how to store and query data in a table atom. Here you see a standard source queue server sync model. We will use a table atom to store the waiting times in the queue. First, we will show some general functionality of the table atom. The table atom can be found in the group Data of the library. You can right-click the table to open it directly. You can easily change the number of rows and columns. You can manually add values or strings to the cells of the table. The values are stored immediately. Check Create Alias to create 3 4D script functions, one to easily read cells, one to write data, and one to reference the table from any location in your model. You can also test these functions using the 4D script interact window. The result of the execution of the 4D script statement is shown in the top of the interact window. Use the set function to write strings or values to the table. Besides the row and column number, the third parameter is the new value or string. You can also read and write to the header rows and columns using the index 0. You can also do this manually by right-clicking the cell. The reference to the table can be used to sort the table or change the number of columns or rows. More 4D script functions applying to tables can be found in the Help under the 4D script category tables. The moment a product exits the queue, the waiting time of the product is known. That's why we can use the exit trigger of the queue to write the wait times to the table. To write data, we use the alias created by the table. Notice the alias is known and shown in the code completion. Next, you have to indicate the row and column number and the value of the waiting times. We would like to write the value of each product leaving the queue to another row of the table. Fortunately, we have a standard status function that keeps track of the number of atoms that have left a specified atom. We pass the atom reference C to reference the current atom. This is the Q2 atom on which we are writing the code. To write the waiting time, we can use another status function which is called Age. Here we use the atom reference I to refer to the involved atom, which is the product that caused the execution of the exit trigger. However, in general, you should use another status function called entry time to measure the stay time of a product in any atom. You need to subtract the time at which the product entered the queue from the current time in the simulation. To ensure that all data shown in the table is only of the last simulation run, you can check the option Clear Table on Reset. We do not need this setting in an input table. We add another table to the model that we will use as an input table. Here you could store the important parameters of your model. Again, we check the option to create the 3 alias functions. In the table, we store the average processing time of the machine. Because we have created aliases for this input table, we can use the alias function parameters to read values from this table. Now that we have entered this parameter in the table, we can read this value from any location in the model using the alias function. Since we added the processing time to the table, we go to the server and use the value of the table in the cycle time field. We also use the interact to check we are reading the right value. We have seen that tables can be used to store input parameters and results. In both cases, the alias functions are very useful to access the data from anywhere in the model. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.